Good day folks, my name is Sean and this is Air Photography. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Insta360 Go version 2. Everything about this camera has been updated and improved, including the new Bluetooth remote control case. This thing is definitely the smallest, most versatile point of view camera on the market. Let's just jump right in and take a closer look. So Insta360 has just launched a brand new version of the popular Go 2 camera, and they have improved almost every aspect of this camera. They've added a ton of new features, including this handy new remote case. If you're not quite sure what the Go 2 is, basically it's a small point of view camera. This thing is tiny, lightweight, and easy to mount. Now with this package you also get the new improved charging case. This case will recharge the Insta360 Go 2, plus it is now a Bluetooth remote. You can change modes and settings, we have a small display screen, and you can stop and start recording. As you can see here, it's as simple as pressing the record button, and now the Insta360 Go 2 is now recording. When you place the Go 2 inside the charging case, as you can see there, it automatically starts recharging the unit. But this case also has many other functions. First of all, it acts as a nice little handle, so if you're going to be doing any kind of vlogging, it keeps your hand out of the field of view of the camera. On top of that, you can see one of the new features they've added are some legs. You can set the camera up, simple like that, and you can do a nice long time lapse. In addition to that, you can see we also have a 1/4-20 on the bottom of the case, so you can mount this case right on a tripod. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the Go 2 features, and we'll show you some sample footage a little bit later on in this video. But right now let's talk about who this is geared to and who would want something like this. It's a pretty small little camera. Basically, if you're a person who captures point of view video, this is really the ultimate point of view camera. It's tiny, it's super lightweight, it's very inconspicuous, and it's not a hassle to mount on your body, bicycle, whatever you're trying to capture. The Go 2 comes with a nice variety of accessories for helping you mount it, and there's going to be other accessories available on launch or shortly after. For example, this is one of the accessories that come with the Go 2. Again, this device here can be used as a handle. You can slide it out of that base there, and it's got a sticky pad on the back. That sticky pad is reusable, so if it starts to get debris and loses its sticky grip, all you have to do is rinse it underwater, let it dry, and it will have its full stick capability. It's actually a very secure connection, so you can stick it to things like walls, car windows. I wouldn't put it on the outside of the vehicle if you're driving fast. I would save that for a suction cup. But for some quick point of view shots, you can stick it to an inside window of your car. Just quick, simple, and easy. You also get this necklace that you can wear under a shirt, and then whenever you want, you can just pop the Go 2 and wear it kind of like a chest mount. The original Insta360 Go came with a hat clip, but the new Go 2 comes with a new and improved version. With the new version, you can now set the angle to suit your needs. Basically, you just mount your Go in there. It just connects in there magnetically. Now with that front clip there, you can mount it on the brim of a hat, or even if you're a person who wears your hat backwards, that will still clip up underneath. Once it's clipped, you can then angle it to whatever suits you best. So you can really see the benefit of having a small camera like this. If you've ever tried to mount something like a GoPro on a hat, it's not always the most comfortable thing to wear. First of all, especially if you're wearing it on the brim of a hat, it's pretty top heavy and it can make it feel not too comfortable to wear for long periods of time. Something like this, you'll barely even notice it's attached. And because of its small size, you can mount it in ways you just can't mount a GoPro. For example, we've all seen footage of people mounting a GoPro on their dog when they're playing fetch. If you've got a small dog like a Chihuahua, there's no way you could mount a GoPro on there. However, with a little bit of ingenuity and a small camera like this, mounting this on a small dog is no longer a problem. And of course here, they're going to be offering a GoPro style finger mount. So all you do is mount your Insta360 Go 2 in there. And then of course, as you can see here with the finger mount, it'll connect to any GoPro accessory. Now let's go ahead here and do a size comparison for those of you who are interested on what the size difference is. As you can see, it's pretty close in size to the original Insta360 Go case. There's a little bit more weight to it, but not by much. Of course, with the original Insta360 Go, it just had a plastic lid at the top, and then you pull the camera right out. Now when it comes to the actual camera itself, you can see the new Go 2 is a little bit larger and a little bit thicker. But one really nice new feature this year with the Go 2 is this lens cap here is now removable. As you can see here, it unscrews quite easily. So that's a really nice new feature. Now, as you can see on the original Go, the lens protrudes a fair amount there. So if you happen to drop this on something like rock, asphalt, or concrete, chances are you're going to scratch that lens. The original one had a micro USB on the side for charging up the case. To connect to your phone, you can see there we had a lightning port, and that was kind of a problem for people who were on Android devices. As you can see, the new case is USB-C, and it connects wirelessly to your smartphone or tablet. This camera is also completely waterproof. Now when it comes to recording video, there's two different modes. There's the basic mode and then there's the pro mode. When you're filming in basic mode, it offers in-camera stabilization. When you record in pro mode, not only do you have the in-camera stabilization, you also have flow state stabilization, so it's going to give it that little extra polish. So now let's do a quick comparison of the different stabilization modes. As mentioned, when filming in pro mode, you have the bonus of in-camera stabilization and the extra polish of flow state. This first video clip here, I'm filming in basic mode as I walk along. So the only stabilization we have is the in-camera stabilization, but as you can see here, it does actually a pretty good job. Now we'll compare that to this video. This was shot in pro mode, so we have the bonus of flow state, and you can see here there's quite a bit more polish to it. It's not as jittery. At the end of the day, both do a really good job. Now let's just play them back side by side so you can get a comparison of the two. On top of that, in pro mode, you have full horizon leveling. So it doesn't matter what way the camera's recording and which way it's moving, your horizon is always going to stay perfectly straight. So let me do a quick demonstration of horizon leveling for you here. As you can see, as I spin the camera around, I'm turning it in a full 360 degrees. But when we look back at the footage, you can see that the horizon stays perfectly level. There's a little bit of motion in the video as it makes that extreme movement, but it does a pretty good job keeping it level. You also have the ability to change your aspect ratio and even your field of view when you're editing in post on the app, which is really nice because sometimes you don't know what field of view you want until you're editing your video. Now I'm just going to demonstrate for you here quickly how you can adjust the field of view and the aspect ratio. When editing videos, you can actually leave the video files on the GoTo until you're ready to transfer them over. Just keep in mind that you only have 32 gigabytes of storage, so at some point you will have to clear it off. In this clip here, I've shot in wide angle mode. That's what I was filming in when I captured it. But we can do a couple things to it. First of all, we can change the aspect ratio. If we click on that button there, by default, it's in 16:9. But we can change it to 9:16, or we can even change it to square. So if you're going to be uploading it to something like your YouTube stories, Instagram stories, or even on TikTok, you want that tall aspect ratio. On top of that, we can also change the field of view. So like I said, I filmed this in wide, but we can click on that and we can select action, linear, or narrow. So if we want to crop in a little bit, you can see there we can change it on the fly. Not only does it bring the subject in closer, but it also gets rid of the distortion. Now the Insta360 Go is also capable of capturing 9 megapixel photos. Here's a couple samples that I took with the Insta360 Go, and as you can see, it does a pretty good job. Capturing photos with the Go 2 is actually pretty simple, just a double press of the button. With the Insta360 Go 2, there's two different ways in which you can capture hyperlapses, or what Insta360 calls time shift. You can use the built-in hyperlapse mode, or you can just convert your existing videos by speeding them up. If we take a look at this video here, I filmed just while I was driving, but to convert this to a hyperlapse, all we have to do is go over to speed. We're going to slide that slider there where we set the time, and I'm going to select 16 times speed. Once we've set the speed, we just have to drag along the clip. You can see it adds that red bar there at the top. So I'm just going to go right to the very end. And one thing you want to make sure you have on is your motion blur. That'll make your hyperlapse look really nice. We'll hit the check mark. Again, another check mark, and now we can just go ahead and export it. Once you've exported it, this is what you end up with. You can see that motion blur along the sides make it look really nice. It's something you can experiment, try it with motion blur and without to see what you like best. If you're a person who likes to capture some slow motion footage, not a problem. You can capture up to 120 frames per second slow motion. On top of that, if you're a person who likes to do your own grading, there's 3 different color modes in which you can capture on the Insta360 Go 2. They have their standard mode, which is a normal shooting mode. They have a vivid mode, so when you're capturing, all your colors are going to be a little bit more punchy. But you can also capture in log, so if you want to go in to post and do your own grading, you can do so quite easily. The Insta360 Go 2 is fully compatible with the Insta360 app, so you don't have to download a separate app anymore to use it and make use of it. You have all the editing features built right into the app, including all the intelligent AI editing features. If you're a person who doesn't like to edit, you can just select all your clips and let the Insta360 app do all your editing intelligently. The functionality of the Insta360 Go 2 is very simple. Basically, in this mode here, when you open it up, you can see that blue light comes on. That means it's ready to record. And as I showed you earlier, all we have to do is hit the record button, but we can go in and change what mode we're in. If we want to shoot in pro mode, or basic mode, we can do so quite easily, or if we want to take a photo, we can switch it over to photo mode. If you have the camera pulled out of the case, there's two different ways in which we can capture. The first way is called quick capture, and as you can see, we don't have a light on the camera there. So that means it's kind of in its sleep state. When it's in its sleep state, one press on the button there at the front is going to get it to start recording. When recording in this method, it's only going to record in the basic mode. Another press will stop recording. Again, when it's in sleep mode, a double press will take a photo. And then when it's done, it powers back off. So that's called quick capture when the camera's powered off. That helps conserve battery. The other way to capture video is to power the camera on. In order to do so, we're going to long press on the button. You can see at the front that light is kind of a bluey green color right now. So when the camera's powered on and we do a single press, it's again going to record video, but now in this mode it's recording in Pro Video. You know it's recording because that light is flashing white. And again, to stop recording, just another quick press. It'll go back to its standby mode, but the camera is still powered on. When the camera's powered on again like this, a double press, instead of taking a photo, it will go into a hyperlapse. And again, a single press to shut it off. You can change the behavior of the single and double press both in standby mode and when the camera's powered on by going into app and setting the button behavior. So if you want a single press to take a photo and a double press to start recording video, you can change that easily. So I think they've really done a great job adding some really nice new features. The original Go was popular in the FPV community, people who like to mount them on FPV drones. So with some of its new capabilities, I think the Go 2 is going to be even more popular with FPVers. I have a couple other videos planned that I'm going to be uploading over the coming weeks. I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper into the app, some more in-depth tutorials, and some interesting things you can do with this camera. What I'll do is include the link down below where you can go and check it out further. I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.